Hi, people. VGT Adam here. I just watched the PlayStation State of Play show, um, and I mean, I have some thoughts on the overall show, but I guarantee you that most of this is going to be spent on the last announcement and also a couple lack of announcements. But I'll get to that. So this was roughly around 40 something minutes, I think. Uh, this was, yeah, a little, about under 40 minutes, whatever. Um, Basically the same as the direct, that play. Oh my god, same direct as Nintendo did not too long ago. But Nintendo had a lot more games in a lot fewer time because they were just going. And this one, Sony was kind of just showing longer footage of less games, which I'm fine for. That's not a problem. But majority of it was stuff that was already announced. Like I don't remember too much full on new stuff, which I get because of COVID and everything. It's going to be a little more delayed with some stuff, but most of it's just like, hey, PS5 conversions or like announcements for games finally. But this show still has promise. So it started out with uh, they were showing stuff for Crash 4 on the PS5 version. Um, I know I didn't play Crash 4. I didn't really play too many Crash games, if any. But here's a good game. So it's just a PS5 version, 4K, 60 FPS. It's always good. Fast load times. The triggers for the controllers. Yeah. But it's just Crash Bandicoot. Nothing too new there. Save transfers, of course, because people might not want to play all over again. Then they showed more of Returnal, which, well, I don't think I'll be playing that game. I don't think I'll be playing that game. It does look interesting in a lot of ways. It's kind of like gameplay wise, I think like maybe third person Doom, where you have like more fast paced gun combat as opposed to like more just traditional gun stuff, and then like the demons and everything, or whatever these monsters are. And also got a little bit of like Silent Hill vibes, specifically PT with one of the last parts of the trailer. It doesn't look bad in any regards. It's just not for me. But I can see some people having fun with this. If it's going for full on horror, it's kind of do that when you have like so many options available with the gun and everything. But like the environments are kind of spooky, so maybe they can catch you off guard. Who knows? Yeah, but like one of those last shots is like you're seriously walking to a house, and like it goes into first person, and it looks almost identical to the PT hallway. Like it's like there's stairs there, sure, but like the actual hallway looks so similar, just like in a reverse. It's weird. They showed more of that dodgeball game that was announced at the direct. It looks cool. Not gonna get it, but it looks pretty neat. It's a little more unique, dodgeball of all things. Well, I think next was Solar Ash, right? If this computer ever loads and stops freaking out on me every time I freaking press a button. Yeah, Nox City was that one. Oh no, okay, so they showed this game, Sifu, I think it's pronounced the way it's pronounced. I love the art style. It's basically a beat 'em up. I love the art style. But I kind of find it interesting how like the first thing we see is like the old boy hallway. Like it looks identical to that. Like the characters look, different, but like it's the old boy hallway. It's straight up just that, which is funny because I was actually watching an old boy review not too long before watching the State of Play. Yeah, I like the way this looks. The gameplay is a little kind of close, like camera wise, but it looks pretty neat. Gonna need to know more about it in some cases. Maybe if we can pan the camera back just a little bit. And then you have some like the whole like other environments, like the club really remind me of John Wick and stuff like that. But this looks like a cool little beat 'em up game. It looks neat. That's all I kind of got to say. Okay, after that was Solar Ash, where we finally got more gameplay of it, and it's kind of like a speed-based platformer, which is so different from Hyper Light Drifter. Like I thought this was gonna be kind of like not really Hyper Light Drifter in 3D, but more like more of an maybe like a fast action game, kind of like, I guess, what was it called? Nilo, I think that game was called. That one indie game. I don't know if it's even out yet. I know there was like a early access stuff or like just demos of it. Um, yeah, but like Solar Ash like just looks gorgeous. It looks so good, and like the platform looks great. The speed looks great. The world is interesting. Like this looks top tier. This looks so cool. And the fact that the boss battles are kind of like level bosses as opposed to like actual bosses, it's not unique, but like the way they can pull off could be so cool if done right. It's not what I expected, honestly. Like I said, like Half-Life Drifter was so different, like almost everything wise. Like the art style was obviously like similar, but it's pixel art compared to 3D models. But like the art styles are similar, but like everything else besides that is like just so different, unique. But it looks so cool. Like I have nothing but praise for Solar Ash. It looks great. Let's see. Now, the next thing, they showed this rabbit thing, right? And then they showed a security guard. They showed security as the next shot. And I literally made the joke. I don't know if I'll upload a reaction video or not. I'm going to try my best. But if I do, the link will be in the description. If I do. I literally made the joke of Six Nights at Freddy's. Only for it to actually be Five Nights at Freddy's spin-off game, Security Breach. Like, I was joking, and then all of a sudden it is actually real. Oh boy, oh boy. No thoughts on this. I don't care. It doesn't look that scary because you have more control over yourself. Maybe I could be proven wrong, but it doesn't even look that bad. Like it doesn't look It doesn't look like a horror game. It kind of just looks like, you know, basic thriller or whatever. I don't care. Next was Our World Soulstorm. Nothing I don't really care about. I don't know if it'd be bad or not. I don't know. I think it's a remake of a sequel, right? So I don't know how people feel about that and how they feel about the other ones. I don't know, and I don't care. I do find it funny how, like, he seems, when the release date is showed up, for some reason he looks worried about it. I don't know why. I just find that kind of funny. If you go and look at the footage, he looks worried about the release date. It's kind of weird to me, but it's funny. Kenna looks great. Kenna looks fucking superb. I got nothing else to show. They didn't really show too much, like, new mechanics or anything, but it looks gorgeous. It looks great. It's coming out 3 days before No More Heroes 3, so that's gonna be a problem for me specifically, and maybe some other people. 3 days before, Jesus. Oh boy, that's gonna be a busy week. Anyway, so yeah, that was Kenna, and then they showed more of Deathloop, another game I just don't care about. I don't think it looks bad. I just don't care. And then the final thing they showed, which is probably gonna take up most of this video, was Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, obviously, the game's been out. It's not like they're just announcing it to come out. So the thought was, you know, it's going to be a PS5 version, right? Well, before the PS5 version, we see, you know, just the basic footage. You know, nothing too new. But then at a certain point, all of a sudden we see something I did not recognize at all. And then all of a sudden, it's Yuffie. So there's going to be DLC for Remake, instead of, you know, incorporating just the next, putting Yuffie in the sequel or whatever. But Yuffie's gonna have her own DLC, kind of like introduce her a little early. I believe it takes place when Cloud fell off the reactor into Aerith's place, and the whole thing is like, oh, Yuffie was actually there the whole time. I don't know if I like that, but it is what it is. Character model looks great. Like, I've never been the biggest fan of Yuffie. Tifa always all the way 24/7. Like, best FF7 girl, fight me. But Yuffie still looks great. And then they have I want to say it's a completely new character. The guy with the staff. I think his name is Sonam. I could be completely wrong with his name. I'll look when the gameplay comes up. I think he's new. I do not recognize him from anything. Unless he was on some obscure Japanese-only novel or something, I think he's completely new. Or like Johnny, maybe he's like an NPC from the original that was greatly expanded upon. I'm not sure. He's got a staff, that's pretty neat. But yeah, Yuffie's, well, she's staying hidden for the most part. She's in her weird Moogle costume. A little more mobile, like, you know, making her do some weird platforming, not platforming things. It's all context sensitive. And then we see some of her gameplay, and like I thought she'd be mostly a long range wheeler because you know she can just throw that shuriken around, but she's got some close up melee attacks. Now she does have a mechanic, Sonnen. That's his name, Sonnen. She does have a prompt called throw and retrieve. So maybe that could be her long range thing. Kind of interesting to see her gameplay. It's surprisingly kind of close up, but she has a lot of team attacks with Sonam, which I'm really shocked that they're doing more of these full on team attacks. Like they're in tandem. Like this is like those blindside links from 15. These are blindside links from 15. But like done way better because I think you can control them. And then Sonam's got this. Oh, is that her limit break? Oh yeah, her limit break is like these cool autumn leaves. I'm not sure which limit break it is. It looks really sweet. And there's a point where she does take her costume, and there's a boss fight against a Senpi, which I don't know if that was the original or not. Sonam's got this. Oh, she's got like spells and stuff too. That's neat. Yeah, he's got this staff thing. We don't see too much of his gameplay, but I mean that could be, you know, because of all the team attacks and stuff, he's probably gonna be a little more supportive than anything. But she looks great. I'm not gonna deny she looks great. I just didn't want DLC for remake. They could have integrated this in a different way, but this is the industry we live in now. It's just how it is. And then there was also so yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake integrates. That lets you know how it's DLC because it's integrated into Remake. Here was something that freaked me out, and if I do that reaction video, you'll see. They showed flashes of the main villain from Dirge of Cerberus, Weiss, or Vice, however you want to pronounce it. Now, I don't like that they integrate him in any way, shape, or form, especially since of all the things in the compilation they could have added. Like, they could have done something from Crisis Core, or before Crisis, or Advent Children. Of all the stuff they could have added, they added stuff from Dirge, which is, the worst aspect of the compilation? So, I didn't like that. I got so angry at that. But then I went back and looked at it, and it's hard to tell, but if you go slowly through, it looks like he's in the Shinra VR thing. So if he's just an optional boss in the VR chamber, that would be fine. I have no problem with that. If they integrate him into the story in some way, then fuck wherever Remake's going. Whatever praise I have for Remake, fuck it. But if he's optional only, I'd be okay with that. I don't like that they put him in, but if they are going to put him in, I hope it's just optional only, right? I don't like that. I just don't. But then, and they, available worldwide in June. Now, the thing is that the PS5 version is what they show off after. Show, more enhanced graphics, better frame rate. Now, it seems like integrated isn't going to be full-on DLC, and, you can just, if you have the PS4 version, you can download it. It seems like it's only the PS5 version. And the only thing I'm thinking is that it's going to be some kind of, weird test or tech demo for how Remake Part 2 will be, and maybe it's just too powerful for PS4 to handle. But it seems kind of weird locking it off to the PS5 only, even if it's coming out in June. It seems weird to lock it off to the PS5 only. It's just these weird marketing decisions, which I'll get to in a bit, trust me. But the PS5 version looks, great. I mean, it's kind of hard to... The only thing you can really improve on, besides the frame rate, is just textures. Because the rest of the game looks fucking fantastic on PS4 anyway. So, I mean, it looks great on PS5, don't get me wrong. But, there's only so much more it could be. Yeah, it looks a little better, but not, much. The textures seem a little better, I think. The lighting's obviously going to be better because they have ray tracing, I'm sure they do. I wouldn't be surprised. 60 FPS looks great. It really does. I think the cutscenes are 62, which is great. But, the actual character models always looked fine, so there's not, too much they could improve there. That's not a problem. I just don't like that the Yuffie thing was... PlayStation 5 only. It kind of limits people because right now it's kind of hard to get that. Obviously loading times are almost non-existent, which is terrific because that's one of the worst aspects of 4 was loading times. Photo mode, which is nice. Yeah, the Yuffie stuff. And I wasn't expecting too much huge stuff in the state of play, but I'm shocked at how meh it was. But then, I had a friend who told me to go to Final Fantasy's Twitter, right? They made 2 more huge announcements on Twitter and didn't even like say like, "Oh, hey, check our Twitter for more information about new games that we just announced," or something like that. They just posted it on there. I don't like that. That's terrible, terrible marketing. You want to know why? A few months ago, there was news of Square Enix getting the copywriting things called The First Soldier and Ever Crisis, right? And we thought maybe there'll be something with the the new remake part, right? But when you go to their Twitter, Final Fantasy Twitter specifically, not Square Enix's Twitter, you have to go to Final Fantasy VII Remake's Twitter. They added, it's 2 mobile games. First Soldier and Ever Crisis are 2 mobile games. First Soldier is a battle royale. It's a battle royale game in the Final Fantasy VII world. Now, maybe this could help for Vincent's gameplay, like kind of get a basic idea of his gun stuff. But it's a battle royale Final Fantasy game. That's whatever. The real interesting one is Ever Crisis. So, Ever Crisis is a little more in line with what people wanted the remake to be, where it's a little more, it's got the chibi models, it's got the same camera angles, it's got the same dialogue, probably a little more retranslated. But this is, I mean, it looks like a mobile game. Like, before you get to the battle scenes, it looks like a mobile game. But this is a little more full-on accurate than what Remake did. This is a little more what people wanted in terms of the look of it, where they just want a straight-up full-on remake. Right? Which looks fine for a mobile game. Looks kind of like what they did with 15. Just, make the whole game, but in, this chibi format, I guess. And they do have art styles that are pretty cool for the character dialogue. I don't think Nomura drew those, but they're really cool. I like how stylized they are. Then we get to the battle, and it straight up uses just slightly weaker models of the PS4 ones. But it looks a little more turn-based, or active time battle, whatever you want to call it. A little more traditional. Like, they're all standing. You have to select what you're doing. I don't think it's like... Because the ATB bars, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more. Where in the main game you had 2. So it makes me think that there's it's a little more turn-based. Or whatever the gameplay was, the active time system from the original, a little more better represented than, represented than what Remake did. Now, I personally prefer action RPG over turn-based, so I was fine with Remake as gameplay. But if you want something more traditional, it's here. I believe. Let me see. So that's I think it's gonna be a little more like this is kind of like the remake is just on mobile. This is more of the remake that the die-hard fans wanted. Kind of sucks that it's on mobile. I feel bad for them, but it doesn't look horrible. Like the in-game battle animations look fucking top tier. Like they look like they straight up ripped the models, maybe just made them slightly worse quality. I do mean slightly. Like it's impressive, but apparently it says it features the entire compilation of Final Fantasy VII and more, and it shows Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, Before Crisis, Crisis Core, and Dirge of Cerberus. And then once it goes past that, you see this is a literal, in the same vein as what we just saw, there is a remake of Crisis Core. They show Zack on the train and everything in a chibi form. They didn't show too much into that, but yeah. It comes out 2022, so it's a little more, budget, I guess. But in a sense, they're remaking the entirety of the compilation for mobile, which also makes me think, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these are games. So it stands to reason you could somehow remake them. And you could also, the fact that, remake them to more turn-based things as opposed to, Dirge's weird third-person, Crisis Core's slot machines. I don't even know what the hell Before Crisis's gameplay was, but whatever. Advent Children was a movie. Are they gonna make an actual playable Advent Children? Even if it's turn-based or not, because that'd be awesome. But they're remaking, literally remaking, the entire compilation. That is huge. That is huge. Why such a huge announcement on Twitter? That should have been... I don't know if it would end the show, but that should have been the state of play. That should have been in the state of play. There were cool things in the state of play. There was the Kenna thing. There was Sifu. There was Solar Ash. There was something maybe I didn't care about, maybe other people did. Right? Right? But Final Fantasy VII is like the biggest... Oh my god. The Weiss thing, if I upload, that Weiss thing made my voice crack because I yelled so much in anger. So my voice is kind of shot, but... This is huge. Even if it's mobile, even if people are going to be upset it's mobile, this is remakes of an entire series. This is like if they remade all Final Fantasy games almost all at once. Like, these aren't going to come out all at once. They're probably going to come out in, like, packs, because that's why it says 2022. It's going to take a fucking long time. I get it. This is huge. Why is this restricted to Twitter? This is a bigger thing than Yuffie being her own DLC campaign. This is bigger than Weiss being a possible optional, better be fucking optional boss. This is huge. And I'm not even going to get it. I don't care for the turn-based system. That's just a personal thing. If you like it, great. I couldn't care less for this. I'll keep an eye on stuff because, you know, I still like Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy in general. But this is huge. Why would they make it Twitter only? At least, even if you were going to have it in the show, you could have announced it in some way. But they didn't. Freaking modern. This is terrible marketing. I'm surprised if people even find out about this. I'm sure it'll be trending, or people just word of mouth. I'm sure it'll be a lot of stuff, but fucking. Okay. I'm gonna go see if I can get this reaction, but if not, those are my thoughts on State of Play. A couple cool things for me, which was Solar Ash, Kenna, and Sifu. I like those. Some other cool things, maybe if you like them, maybe you don't. Some things I thought were fine, but I won't buy, like Returnal and maybe Oddworld. I won't buy them, but they seem cool. Final Fantasy was the biggest thing, because of course it always is. But they fucked up on this marketing. They did. Those are my thoughts. I'm so tired. My throat hurts. Okay, bye.